This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons like Chris, Craig Marshall, Clinway, Metalligo Phaleon, Ariel, Adam James, CeeLo Redwind, Dan Wilkerson, Christoph Haas, Centra, Amy Veras, Infinitron, Casey Schaefer, Bobby Forbridge, and Omega Cat Comet. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Hello, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 59. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined by Yaspot and Moella Vanadar. A week. It hasn't really been it hasn't been an amazing week, but we're still sort of on the high after the live letter. We're not going to talk about any more about that. We talked about that in the previous episode. So today we're going to talk about the interviews that occurred before and after the live letter. More specifically, the DualShocker interview with Yoshi-P, and a little bit about PAX East with Koji Fox. He was also interviewed. That was by Gamer Escape. So we're going to talk about that, but before that, let's talk a little bit about the channel. Remnants of a Realm released yesterday. It was supposed to be released on Thursday, but when I usually find mistakes or errors in my videos while they're rendering, which is an amazing talent that I have, because I sort of remember stuff while it's rendering. So the videos were like stopped like at 60%, at 7, and then I just had to start re-rendering, and like one render takes an hour and a half ish. Yeah, that's why it was delayed. So sorry. It was out on Friday though. And then I noticed I have no idea how to pronounce lichenweed. Is that what it's called? Lichenweed?
Yeah, lichenweed sounds about right.
Yeah, that's not what I said in the episode.
Lichenweed.
Yeah, I called it lichenweed. And even when I was told what it was, I had no idea. I don't even know what it is in Norwegian. So I just fuck it. Also, I know that the oak tree meme is going around, but I just have to correct that as well. It's not oak tree, it's oath tree. But doesn't change the fact that it's just a dried up old tree, but it's still.
That's a better name, at least.
It is a better name
than
oak tree.
Oak tree. Well, there's only a few thousand of those, so we're good.
It would have been. I mean, it had been better if it had been called oak tree, because that's 1.0 in a nutshell. It's just
pretty much
just called it oak tree.
This landmark building house.
I mean, it's still marked on the map, and it's just a dead tree. So I mean. Oh yeah, also the audiobook that I teased, or I didn't tease, to be fair, we were joking about it until I was dumb enough to say that that it was going to be made. So I think we're just gonna have to move forward on that. Gonna make it Patreon exclusive though. I don't want the audiobook on the channel. So right before this show, I think we just agreed that Yas will read one story, Moella will read another, and I will read the first and the last. So please look forward to that. We don't know how we're going to release it yet. Probably, I don't know if it's going to be probably monthly release. So we have 4 months of audiobooks. Please look forward to that. Of course, we're going to play all the characters. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. Oh yeah, also if you followed us on Twitter...
Oh boy.
You would probably think that I had lost my mind and gone all political, because suddenly the Twitter started. I mean, it wasn't all political stuff. I saw some random 90s fashion advice or whatever. It was weird.
There's something about cars in there, I think.
Yeah.
Like, check out the Porsche or something.
So I was. This happened while I was updating the website. And something happened there in like between an update. I think like something must have gone terribly wrong, and because the website isn't connected to our Twitter, it just spewed out like loads of
Garbage.
tweets. Yeah, garbage. And it feels like it just went on, like it was instant almost, like suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to everyone, because I don't know how that looked like to people that followed Speakers XIV, but that must have filled their entire timeline with just that.
I think most people were like, they got hacked. I don't think anybody questioned it.
Yeah, I got a lot of thank you to all of the people that did let me know. But yeah, that has been sorted. The website has successfully been updated, so that's good. Oh yeah, I have to also mention that we still need writers for the website. We actually need like almost an entirely new team, because the old one has kind of fallen a little bit apart, but we're working on building that back up. So if you want to apply, you have to go to speakersxiv.com/apply. There's like a proper website where you can do that now, so it'll make it easier for you. Oh yeah, Speaker's Place, that has been delayed until next week because Yas has been unwell, so that's back on track next week.
Yep.
Goody. Oh, I might wanna not have that on.
Also hosts.
Oh yeah, hosts. Remember we were asking for host for Speakers of Idland to replace Orange Caramel. We are closing what are we calling it? Okay, it's not a campaign. we won't be accepting accepting any more applications after Monday. So Monday is your last chance. So if you haven't applied, you can do that at speakersofidlin@gmail.com, speakersofidlin@gmail.com. There is no page on the website. Probably should have done that, but it's too late now. So speakersofidlin.com. No.
Speakersofidlin@gmail.com.
Fuck, I had it, and then I just had to go and mess it up. We will, for those of you that have applied, and probably you've probably not heard anything back from us, but that's.
Yeah.
Thank you, Orange.
Thanks, Orange.
Thank you, Orange.
Still, I need to fix that fanfare. It's too long.
It's perfect. It's the perfect.
Get well.
Jesus.
Yeah. So what was I saying again?
It just smashed all the bits.
Please. Let's comment on everything that happens. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, new host. If you haven't heard back from you haven't heard back from us, because I was sort of gathering most of it. So you'll start hearing back from us starting Monday, and we'll probably interview the ones that we pick out for that. So be very afraid. Be very, very afraid.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's get to this goddamn interview. So Yoshi-P was recently interviewed by DualShockers. They usually have really good interviews, by the way, when it comes to
Agreed.
Because it feels like and I think the reporter plays the game, because he's very clearly in on the jokes here from the game.
They do a good job of not asking the same questions that everybody else asks constantly.
Yes. I'm still wondering though, what happened to the umbrella minion? Just where is it?
Oh, you mean the mount? Because they were talking about making it a mount instead.
An umbrella mount?
Yeah.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, where you fly around, it spins.
Oh my god. That is so much better.
It's way better.
So, but wait, when you...
That's just a thing.
Is it better?
Okay, for 1 second I was like, but what when you're not flying? Would you just walk around with the umbrella, just walk?
Yeah,
really
that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
For real?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you go faster though?
That is the Oh my god, that is the best. That is the best.
I don't know if it's ever gonna see the light of day at this point.
One part of me don't want this, but I mean, I want it. There is like a primal need for that right now. I need that. I need to look like Mary. I want to cosplay as Mary Poppins. Anyway, so in the interview, so they talked about a lot of cool stuff. They talked about, for one, we're gonna get to that, but they did I was surprised by the headline, because the headline mentions graphics, and kind of a graphics whore I am. So I got excited. Don't get too excited though. But we'll get to that. So they talked a little bit about the record high subscribers they received. I don't think we mentioned this because I think we talked about the 10 million players, but also it turns out now that the subscriptions for Final Fantasy XIV is higher now than it has ever been, even after A Realm Reborn launched, which is that's an achievement.
Yeah, I agree.
Because A Realm Reborn was like this massive event almost around the world for MMOs, and yet Stormblood beat that. That might have had something to do with the reviews that it got.
I think so. Yeah.
Also, of course, they did push really hard on the promotions for this particular expansion.
That's a good point. Do you think that made a difference? Like them actually promoting it?
I think so. Yeah, it must have. Like, especially in like North America, with like the blood bus that they drove around in, and they had like this giant mural on. I can't remember where it was, but it was. And
they did like the restaurant stuff.
Yeah,
where you'd like have a Stormblood cup or something.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that it must have paid off, obviously, because they didn't do that amount of promotion, I feel, for A Realm Reborn.
I think a really big point is they touch on it in here as well, is saying that returning players are bringing a lot of new players in. And
yes, I
think that has been huge lately, because I've seen a lot of people being like, Stormblood is so good, I want my friends to play now.
Yeah.
Whereas like Heaven's Word and A Realm Reborn, people kind of went, well, it's still an MMO and it might, yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, and I've seen a ton of new players now, so I definitely think something worked.
Yeah,
something.
So that's good news for 14. That means 14 is doing very well 4 years on. One could also say 7 years on if you want to count one play now. Let's see, what else did they talk about? Hold on. Oh yeah, they talked about romance, which I found interesting, because to me 14 has been very careful with that, because you play as both genders, and there's Yoshi-P also says this, but I think I might have to read the question so you understand the context here. For the first time in the Final Fantasy XIV story, there appears to be an element of romance between the player characters and Lise, so Lise specifically. It is very subtle, and I believe that it could be interpreted both as love or as a strong friendship. Is this a correct interpretation? And was it intended for players to be able to interpret the relationship romantically if they so wanted? I did not really. Maybe I'm just blind, but I didn't see that.
I think that's totally, like, if that's what you wanted, that's how you saw it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even get that in the slightest.
No.
No, not at all.
Myla, did you feel any romance between Lise and yourself?
I thought Alize was more romantic than Lise.
That is, yeah. I guess that's.
She showed a bit,
but
an interest.
Yeah, that would be weird though. Isn't she like 14?
It's Japan.
It's Japan. You know how this stuff goes.
Yeah, we have Lalafels.
I was literally just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring up Hermit's Hovel?
Oh, don't talk. We do not talk. We do not speak of Hermit's Hovel. Anyways, Yoshi-P then explains that this was not deliberate. This was not the intention, basically. And we kind of all know why, for the reasons I mentioned earlier. There's also, of course, because there's a very specific reason as well. And has to, I think, China. there's China. There's also Russia. I mean, if you had played as a female there, and Lise was being romantic towards you, that would probably break some laws in some countries. So, I mean, they have to be careful.
Unfortunately true, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he...
Plus, I'm married.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Lise.
That too.
Get out of here.
It would be very destructive for role players, especially that really take their marriage
That's a good point.
seriously.
That is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But Yoshi-P then finishes off with a quote: "Perhaps Lise does feel something that's more than friendship. It's good to leave it to the imagination." So there you go. If you want to feel so, if you want there to be like a romantic interest there, so go ahead. But it's not intended.
That makes sense to me. I mean, that's kind of something Final Fantasy games have done in the past too.
Yeah.
You know, like look at 8. People argue constantly whether Squall and Rinoa actually, you know, had anything, and say people argue that Yuna and Titus were just friends.
Yeah.
Even though they make out and stuff, but whatever. But yeah,
it's a complicated friendship.
Right. So I mean, I actually can understand that thing. It's like if you want to interpret it that way, go ahead.
Yeah. So now they're talking. Then they talked about the graphics, which I've talked about this with. I know I've talked about this with Maela a lot, because 14 has graphics that, let's just say that it looks like it belongs on a PS3, but it's also, it's not like it's a bad thing, but eventually these graphics will start to look somewhat dated. Though I have to say, 14's graphics style is probably going to age much better than like hyper-realistic MMOs like Black Desert. I can't remember anyone else, but you know, those kinds of games, because they tend to age really, really quickly. 14 has like a blend between realism and cartoonish, but it's very light on the cartoonish, but it's just enough for it to age a lot slower than other games.
Yeah, it's really weird because it looks awesome and shitty at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on how you view it.
Yeah,
it's bizarre, but
you usually don't want to zoom in too much on the game. That's usually when things start to crack.
It's the mishmash of really high quality textures with incredibly jarring low quality textures.
I agree. Yeah, totally.
I remember Amon's hat from Circus Tower.
Yeah.
That one, if you go close to that one, whew, that's a nightmare to behold. Which is sad. I mean, that's such a cool hat.
One of the ones that always stuck out to me is that if you come, as soon as you go into turn 1, you come out and there's like Bahamut's, like all the big gold archway and stuff like that. Half of the archway is the worst texture I've ever seen, and the other half is really good. And it's the first thing you see in turn 1, and I've never understood that, and I think it's kind of sums it up right there. It's like good textures and bad textures, like a millimeter apart from each other.
I just wish, although they don't really talk about this specifically, but 14 could just, all I really need from 14 is a texture update, a high res texture update, because I believe they talked about making 14 4K native at some point. So
yes, for the PS4 Pro.
Yes. So I don't see the point with having it in 4K if the textures are 480p.
Totally agree.
So
totally agree.
I don't know if that's something they're planning. But I remember when Heavensward introduced DirectX 11, everyone was talking about like, oh, we're gonna get new textures, we're gonna get high res. Didn't change any of the textures. I know that's a lot of work because they literally have to like reskin fucking everything, but do it. Anyways.
Totally.
So when asked the question, he did say, because he asked if 14 was ever going to have that, if they're considering and updating the engine. Now that's an interesting question, because 14 is built on the Luminous engine, which is the same engine as 15, although it is a stripped down version for 14. But I mean, the core of the Luminous engine is still there, and in my mind, in my very simple mind, I feel like there's still much more power in that engine that they can somehow turn back on for the game. I mean,
it's not on Luminous engine.
What? Really?
It's on Crystal Tools.
No. What? Crystal Tools was 1.0.
This isn't it built on the same engine?
No. Oh god, no.
It's not?
Crystal Tools was a nightmare engine. That's why they threw that the hell away. It's on the I think it's on the Luminous engine now.
Realm Reborn uses a scaled down adaptation of Luminous Studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Crystal Tools didn't work. That's why they had to because they had already stretched it. Yeah. They couldn't update it anymore, basically. And Crystal Tools was interesting because it was basically the PS3. It was like made for PS3 for 13, and I have no idea what they were doing.
Have you ever tried to run Final Fantasy 13 on a PC?
Exactly.
It's like 3 frames a second.
A beautiful experience. Great game. Great game.
Great game.
Great game. Yeah. So, where were we? So because the Luminous engine is in there, I feel like they could improve. In my head, I feel like they can just turn it into Final Fantasy 15 graphics, which obviously isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But
they just flip the switch.
If you want
just the 15 switch, just switch that. And
if you want 15-minute load times every time we teleport.
Oh god. Just remove the zone borders.
We're not going down this.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Okay. Anyways, when the interviewer asked him about this, Yoshi-P said that wasn't completely out of the questions, but they've already started working on the next expansion, or planned. Don't worry, they haven't I don't think they've started like real work, but they've started outlining it, I suppose. So there are no plans for upgrades to the engine with that expansion. But he also then talks about the fact that the other MMOs, because the interview then mentions that other MMOs in the past have, like World of Warcraft, have updated their graphics when the game starts to look dated. But he then says that we're in a different time now. Graphics don't evolve as fast as they did back then, because remember, original World of Warcraft looks like something, and I keep saying this, looked like something out of Nintendo 64.
Agreed. Yeah, totally.
And that's not so weird because it came out like at the tail end of Nintendo 64's life, basically. That's how old that is.
I mean, you look at 11 looks not good.
Yeah, exactly. That's the PS2, beautiful PS2 era graphics.
Right.
And 11 never got that upgrade, did it? It never got an engine upgrade because the PS2 was just there until like last year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming.
Well, it's being reborn as a mobile MMO now, so that's happening. Technically, you could say that 11 went free to play, because I believe that is free to play. So. Anyways, let's not get depressed. Let's see. So yeah, he also mentioned a weird thing, because he did talk about like they had the capability to like make graphical changes, like having the pupils react to light.
I liked that.
That is a very tiny weird thing, but it's also like
amazing.
That would be pretty cute. Yeah,
I'd take that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't take that over like a engine upgrade, but
true.
Just that.
But that is apparently possible with their engine. But it would also probably lower your frame rate quite a bit. So he is still talking about people that are playing on low-end PCs, which, I mean, that is something you will never. That is something you have to put into the equation, because there will always be.
I think there's also still making good strides in that regard, because like even just recently they said they raised the minimum requirements, right? And they basically said they're cutting out support for lower versions of Windows and stuff, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah.
Which you could say that in itself is a big help with graphics, because it kind of is.
Yeah.
So maybe they can start doing things like that once the minimum requirements have gone up a little bit. They can start adding stuff like that because they're not so worried about tanking someone's frame rate.
Yeah. Because and again, it does sound like that's not in the cards for yet. So maybe 6.0. Right. Maybe we'll start seeing some changes there. I see someone mentioning that in 11 you could mod the texture pack. You could put in a modded one with HD resolution. 14, they just don't want you to mod anything in 14, fortunately. 11 was very different, because I remember like the maps, for instance, you had to mod the maps, or else you wouldn't find out where to go. Is this how I remember it? Were the maps just like pictures in a folder? I can't remember how I modded this, but it must have been really easy to mod.
I just use Windower.
Yeah, that's what I use. Oh yeah,
Windower just does it all yourself.
Oh yeah, that's what it did. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, those were the days. Anyways, what did he say? Yeah, he was very concerned about people that would normally run at 60 FPS suddenly running it at 30 FPS. Was it really worth it?
I agree.
Yeah, just to have the pupils expand and it's not worth it. So then he talked about what else did he talk about? Oh yeah, they talked about the butt slider.
Could we just skip that?
Yeah, he basically said fuck off.
Good.
Then there's something interesting, because I know this is something Orange, if he was here, would be very positive about. That is performing in-game activities while AFK. Because that's something that's been viewed very negatively by MMORPG developers and players. But now it's becoming more and more normal. The interviewer claims. Yoshi-P then answers that this is basically what they do in Korea. This is the standard for Korean MMOs, where you don't have to do anything, but you just have to stay online. And that's because in Korea, a game's performance is judged on how long players are logged in from internet cafes.
To me, that makes less sense, because if you're at an internet cafe, it's not your computer.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you just like buying time on an internet cafe and then leaving and letting your...
Because I would be really like, I'm paying for this, I better fucking get something done.
Like, let's raid or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, doesn't...
That is weird.
God, can you imagine raiding though if the only way you could play is at an internet cafe?
Oh, dude, I don't even want to imagine. That sounds like hell to me.
What a life.
Like, I like to play like butt naked, sitting in my room, just all like, like, come on.
Yeah. What a weird. That is such a weird culture to have for gaming, like
totally,
internet cafe. So high traffic in that area helps a game being recognized as performing well, so players cannot be allowed to run out of things to do. They always have something to do and be logged in, even if it's botting. That's the foundation of how that trend started. So Yoshi-P is throwing some shade on the Korean MMO market there.
Apparently.
But as an AFK king, Lukiel, having one activity you could do AFK.
No,
for example, fishing.
Yeah, I heard that being brought up.
Like would that not interest you to make some gil while you're standing still?
Because you see, that's where the problem is. Because
you're making money, and then people,
that would crash. First of all, the market would just implode. Because the bots no longer have to even do anything. They don't need to hack the game anymore. They just have to log in.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't do that. Also, I've played a few of those Korean MMOs where you get stuff just for not doing anything, and it's like, why am I doing why am I not doing this, rather? This, I'm not playing a game here, I'm just getting shit handed to me, and I have never really liked that.
I'm pretty sure if I found my passwords for some of those older Korean MMOs, I would still be beating on a dummy right now, and I would probably be like max level.
Yeah, probably. I don't think that's usually a sign of the game not being in a good place.
I was gonna say, doesn't that kind of just mean it's boring?
Yeah.
I get obviously going AFK. I'm not saying if you go AFK in a game it's boring. That's not what I'm saying. But if they're like doing that to extend your playtime as like an actual thing that you should be doing, I don't know. Like, just log in, play, and when you're bored, you log off. I mean, or just I don't know. I hope they don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
Some games do it quite well though, like EVE Online, for example.
Yeah,
and you're always progressing, and you feel like I can't play this weekend, but you're progressing.
Yeah, you mean like in with books and whatever? I haven't played EVE Online too much. Yeah.
Now I almost think, to a degree, maybe not to what some people want, but the companion app would solve a lot of those problems, right? Because you could be making Gil offline or AFK or whatever, but you're still putting in your own input to a slight degree, Yeah. Like I think that kind of makes more sense. Maybe like add a mini game through that or something. Like, I mean, have it so you could fish from the app or something. I don't know, like that. Like do something like that instead, where it's not just you being doing it completely on its own. It's at least has some player input that you're earning something. Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like they did with the Vita. I believe that was a very limited companion app, but I believe you could fish from the Vita, if I'm not mistaken. Though I don't know if that's even supported anymore. I haven't heard anything about that. Yeah,
you can do it. You can play the whole game on a Vita if you want.
Well, you can play you can in a very limited way play the game. I've heard people try to do dungeons on the Vita.
That's fine. I've done it.
God, that explains so much.
Yeah, that explains a lot of players.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, there's a little bit of delay, but it's fine.
How many frames? How much FPS do you have on the Vita then? Because it's
probably 30 at all times.
Yeah. Staggering 15.
No, it's not that low. Only if your internet's getting really bad. Like there's times where I've done stuff and then my internet starts to die and it's like, oh no.
Because if I remember correctly, the Vita, you have to be on the same network as the PlayStation. Unless
you no, you don't actually have to be on the same network. They both have to have internet access, and if they're paired, you can do it from anywhere. But they both need to have a Wi-Fi connection in general.
Right.
Unless I think you might be able to buy a SIM card for it and actually just play it anywhere you want. It's probably not good that way, but I think you can do that.
Buying a SIM card for a Vita, that's dedication right there.
That's when you know that your life has hit a low.
Yes. Anyways, AFK shit. So Yoshi-P then, because you can probably already tell that Yoshi-P is gonna shut this down. There are no plans for that. He mentions that it's unfair to people that don't have time to put their kind of weird. If you don't have time to play the game, that's when AFK rewards is beneficial, because you can just leave your computer running all day. But he says, for example, let's say that I have a lot of free time and I'm able to leave my character in-game fishing, whereas Ishikawa-san is very busy and she's unable to log into the game at all. She would look at me and wonder why I get an advantage. Players who wouldn't be able to keep their characters logged in would be dissatisfied and might think that they can't catch up to those who can. They might even quit the game. So while I understand what he kind of means, but I think it should be like the other way around almost, because if I didn't have time, I would just leave my computer running online, which I often do.
Right.
Yeah, I don't quite get that one, but I'm thankful that he doesn't do this, because it doesn't work in 14, I think. At least if that means, like, for fishing, for instance, where you can earn actually a lot of gil if you just do it for a long time.
I think I really resonate with what he says when he says we're not concerned about concurrent users. We more look to daily active users and monthly active users. And I agree with that. It's like, it seems like if you're doing that kind of thing, it's almost like a please stay logged into our game. We really need you to stay logged into our game, So I kind of think that's I agree with that personally. It's like, just do what you want, and they're not necessarily concerned about you being logged in 24/7.
Yeah. He did mention World of Warcraft in that regard as well.
What? Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! You have to censor that when you say that word.
We might summon Orange. Yes, that's sort of the end of that interview with Yoshi-P. They ended on that note, the AFK stuff.
Have you noticed that no interview ever asked, when we're getting a Lords of Verminion expansion?
Yeah.
See, I would be more concerned about Chocobo racing updates.
That's
yeah.
We haven't even got a Heavensward course yet, let alone a Stormblood course.
Yeah. By the way, did you read that the guy in charge of Chocobo racing has been promoted and is no longer working on Chocobo racing?
But not just promoted to doing things such as Susano.
Yeah.
But Susano was good. Yeah. How did he mess up so much the first time?
Chocobo racing's awesome.
How did he get...
I will defend Chocobo racing.
It could be awesome.
I will defend Chocobo racing.
Why? Okay. Let's just discuss Chocobo racing for the 1 millionth time. Why is it on tracks?
It was in 7.
7 was a game from 1997 or 6.
Yeah, but the whole point of Chocobo racing is it's the gold sorcerer. It's from 7.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nostalgia. We're good.
The reason I hate it is because when you press spacebar, it takes a minute.
Yeah, it does.
60 full seconds before you even jump.
Don't blame Chocobo racing.
And then when you press server, you're going left and right. It actually just has like 3 lanes.
It has 3 lanes,
but gives you the illusion.
It's great. Okay, it's great.
And what's with the sort of, you hold down W, and if you try and like preserve your stamina, everyone just overtakes you anyway. So you have to just hold down W, no matter what. Yeah. The whole game is just holding down W.
You gotta breed the perfect Chocobo.
Before we move on to the Koji Fox thing, I just want to mention real quick, because I know this is a meme in the Final Fantasy, not even 14, but in the entire Final Fantasy community. Have you seen obviously you haven't, no one would, but the Final Fantasy 15 and New Empire Twitter?
Oh, you showed me. Yeah.
I have not seen that at all.
They have literally hired a fucking... She looks like a porn actress to...
Didn't we find out she was one?
Oh, she was? Okay.
Or at least she might just have been... No, I think she was.
Yeah.
Yes, stop Googling it.
Don't... It's the saddest... It's such a wreck of a page right now. They've made commercials with this woman and people like turning into Final Fantasy 15. It's like the weirdest... It's such... I don't understand how they even allow this.
Honestly,
they've just stolen the name Final Fantasy 15, haven't they?
Yeah.
On their Twitter.
Yeah, it just says 15.
Yeah, they have. There's such a scammy shit thing to do.
Okay, do you know what I think they did though? Because if you look, all of the games that are like that, like the city building games, they always plaster a model all over it.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that they do. You know?
I know. That's why I'm so shocked, because this is a licensed Square Enix title.
Which I don't want to. It makes me. Honestly, it aggravates me a lot.
Because I saw this on Twitter and it says Final Fantasy 15 and I was like, okay, new Final Fantasy 15 content, and this is this fucking porn actress, and the commercial has nothing to do with the game. There is no in-game footage. It's just like this epic adventure that you're going to build your empire, and it's just like nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
This fucking shit has done more negative just outlook for the entire Final Fantasy franchise. Like, it's put a big smudge on it than anything else has. It's worse than 1.0 did for the franchise. It's worse than 13. It's worse than Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
It is just
okay.
It makes me angry.
I
hate it so much
that this episode is going to get demonetized faster than any other video, because we talked about Princess Diana and now we're talking about porn actresses.
Okay, good point. Good point.
You wouldn't get any of this in a Record Keeper. I love that game.
A Record Keeper is actually pretty
It is
decent.
actually a nice little game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So they can actually make good games, but I think that's made by Square Enix, or
This one isn't made by
this
Square
one is
Enix.
not, just disclaimer, it's not, it's just licensed. But I'll explain quickly for those that don't know about this game, although it pains me deeply. Final Fantasy 15 A New Empire is yeah, how do you describe it? It's a city building game, but it's a mobile.
It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme. Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
But I'm just gonna explain like what the game really is. So you get like I think every starting, like all the I don't even know how to explain it because it's so bad. But you basically get the screen with lots of buildings on, and you upgrade them, and you have to pay a lot of money to upgrade faster, which you have to do.
And people can steal your stuff.
People can steal your stuff, so you have to just keep paying out. And it's just a nightmare of a game. And
it's awful.
The worst part is that they're trying to scam you by first of all, when the game first came out, the reviews were all negative. Like it was bottom of the barrel reviews, like
most
star.
of them said something like, "This is a scam. Do not buy this game."
Yeah. A few weeks later, though, suddenly there were thousands of positive reviews, 5 stars. Where did those come from?
They're just legitimate reviews from legitimate people who played the game.
Looked
past the flaws.
Then on their Twitter, they only have, I think, and I believe they probably bought those as well. They have like, what did they have, like 3,000 or 4,000 followers? And they have a verified icon, but they also renamed their entire Twitter to just Final Fantasy 15. So when you see this in your feed, you're made to believe that you're actually watching a Final Fantasy 15 official post on Twitter. So and yeah, they tried to they offered us a sponsorship deal too. So that
they offered pretty much everybody. I swear they've spent the most in advertising out of any Final Fantasy game in history.
Yeah. Because
anytime you Google, like, I'll be like, Final Fantasy 14 fishing leaves locations, and it's like, play a new empire. Fuck off. God, I hate it.
And I've even seen that, because that ad runs on our videos.
It runs on everything.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I had a friend that texted me. He's like, "Hey, have you seen this new Final Fantasy 15 game? It's been advertised to me constantly." And I'm like, "Don't play it. It's a goddamn scam."
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, that sucks." But
so be warned.
I don't know why you brought this up.
Yeah.
Now I'm just mad.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what level's your empire?
It's actually 46,000. I played a lot.
Also, just the last thing I want to mention is that they have that tacky choose your side. Now, what side are you on? And it's like the evil and the good next to each other.
But it's like, are you on Gladio's side or Noctis' side? Because they don't know what's going on in the game.
Exactly. They put fucking Leviathan on the good side because he's blue and shiny, I guess. And then there's Titan on the bad side. Nothing makes sense because
play the game. They both help you.
Anyways,
Blue Keel, why'd you do this to me?
Anyways, this is
I'm so triggered right now.
This is not a Final Fantasy 15 A New Empire. Oh, well, that's an idea for a new. That's a new concept we have.
That can be part of the cerulean reactor once we get there.
Speakers of the New Empire 15.
That's catchy. That really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It really does. Let's move on.
What was it again?
Anyways,
what were we talking about? Like, how did we get
Koji Fox?
I don't know how. I just remembered that was a thing, and it really enraged me. Anyways, let's talk about Koji Fox. So he was at PAX East. I can't remember the day now. Was it on? It was during the 4-year anniversary. I think. Anyways, he did a 1-hour panel where he talked about lore and stuff. I just watched it, but I can barely remember because there was so much. And I just have to say, Koji Fox is a really cool guy. I think most people know this by now, but there is so much detail into everything. They put so much detail into everything. Like they talked about how the Ruby Sea is called the Ruby Tide, on the map, on the actual like the graphical map, the map that we have, the cloth map and the overworld map. And while it's called the Ruby Sea when we teleport there. And the reason is that when the Eorzeans first traveled to Authored, they couldn't get into Kugane because of guard patrols and all that. So they made it to the Ruby Sea, and they met some fishermen there they were out fishing. And because they didn't understand each other, they spoke different languages, which was interesting to me because that's not something that's very touched upon in the game. But apparently they spoke Hingashi and they spoke Eorzean.
Which just doesn't exist, apparently, I guess.
He did confirm that Hingashi is a language that is spoken in Authored, which I found really interesting, because that means that all Eorzeans either understand Hingashi or that the Hingashi understand Eorzean. I don't know which one it is, but they do kind of have an accent, I guess.
But you like see two people, like they'll, you know, like the random NPCs, right, that are just chilling. They'll talk to each other and you understand it.
Yeah,
and like why would they be speaking Eorzean, those two, when they're having a private conversation that you're overhearing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyways, they asked the fishermen what this area was called, and they called it the Ruby Tide because that's where the water flowed. It was just how they said it. So the Eorzeans then dotted that down, like, okay, this has to be the Ruby Tide. And then when Kugane opened its doors, they were told that, oh, it's called the Ruby Sea, but by that point the map had already been drawn, so that's why it says the Ruby Tide and not the Ruby Sea. That's not an error, by the way. He made clear that that was not an actual error, because they tried to like, oh, did you fuck up on the graphical map? But he said no, that is actual truth, because apparently that's something that happens here in the real world as well.
But why is it called Shisui of the Ruby Tides?
He didn't get into that, but I guess, I mean, it could be linked to the same thing, that Eorzeans heard about the myth and they were like, it has to be, because our map says Ruby Tide, so it has to be of the Ruby Tide. I don't know. It had something to do with Hingashi being mistranslated or something like that. Maybe.
I mean, that's pretty legit though, because that does happen in real life. That's a cool reason.
Yeah, I just thought that was like such a small thing that I would never have noticed that, I think, ever, that it says Ruby Tide on the big map and Ruby Sea in game. Okay, anyways, they did a lot of weird, like, also how he comes up with names for certain, everyone should actually just watch that panel because it was great.
It's good.
Yeah. He also showed like how he did when they are making the different names for the different zones, how sometimes he talked about there's a part of the Asim steppe that's called it's called something retreat. Now is it Nawan? It's something weird retreat. There's a name and retreat. So Koji Fox came up with that, and he wanted it to have like two meanings. That it was like her retreating that way, and also because it's like an oasis, it's also a retreat in that sense. And the Japanese dude, I can't remember his name, but he just went, fuck, there's no way for me to make that in Japanese because those are two different words in Japanese. So he spent like a long time trying to match that, and I think he said like it took several weeks, and eventually he landed on the northern part of the desert. So he just gave up. So they sort of do that on purpose, the two of them, like because Koji Fox keeps doing that, he can't do that, so he does that in Japanese as well. Okay, so at the end of Heavensward, the Warrior of Light saw themselves through Thornton's eyes as he asked, "What are you?" The moment looked downright sinister. Should we be worried?
Good old Heavensward.
Yeah, this is something we've probably, I don't think we've properly talked about on this on the podcast, but what are we? I think maybe we've mentioned this before, but I still have like this feeling that we might just be tempered by Hydaelyn. We're just.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree. Yeah.
That we might not be as good as we think we are. It certainly seems, in some instances, we've done some questionable shit.
I mean, I could talk about this forever, but well, I don't think there is a good or a bad person in Eorzea. Like I don't think that really exists, because everyone is. If anybody gets the goals they want, they end up being the bad person. Because the whole purpose of Eorzea is to stay completely and utterly neutral, like totally balanced. You know what I mean? So if anybody starts to win, you're the bad guy. So technically, I would say right now, yes, we are the bad guy, because we are winning pretty much unerringly at the moment.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. I just whenever I think about like what we've done, I always think about Titan. Titan, because the way we attack Titan and his kobolds, that's just mean what we did there. There was no reason for it. We didn't have to do that, and we did it.
Well, I guess our reason was you got to protect the ether, right?
Yeah, I guess. But why did he exist in the first place? They called for on him because we fucked up. Like, there's a lot of like Eorzea is mostly the reason why primals exist, because we just can't leave. I mean, the beast tribes there are aggressive beast tribes as well. Well, usually it's because Eorzeans are fucking assholes.
Well, totally, yeah, and I think that's exactly why. Like, that's why we haven't seen much of the Ascians lately, is because all they do is they give people the tools and then they just step back and wait, because that's all they're trying to do is like sow chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it pretty much works.
We're just playing into their hands.
I think. Let's see. Somebody says it's a primal. None of them are really good. That's totally not. That could totally be argued. Absolutely.
Because
Ramuh's kind of nice.
Yeah, you could totally argue that fact. It's only good. It's only bad from our perspective, right?
Well, yeah.
Which doesn't.
Yeah, you could also argue that the 12 are kind of primals, because when we summon them in 1.0,
absolutely, they are.
But totally. We just call them gods because it's Eorzean. So
you nailed it on the head. So, because we're not like these little beast dudes that are summoning it. Because if you ask a kobold what Titan is, he's not going to say it's a primal. He's going to say it's our god. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like, what they do say. That it is
exactly.
Their god. Yeah.
Totally. I 100% agree with you.
It is kind of like Garlemald calling our gods or Eorzean gods for icons as well. I mean,
exactly.
They don't believe in our gods.
No.
So yeah, who? I mean, Garlemald, just to be clear, Garlemald I guess they would be the bad guys regardless, because they just can't keep their fucking hands off anything. They just need to own everything.
Well, they didn't have
Eorzea just wants to be left alone and just everyone be fucking quiet.
But you could also look at it from the fact that Garleans want to take everything over so that they can kind of neutralize conflict and chaos in general, which is actually probably the best thing for the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to stop the whole Zodiarch thing from happening, that would be the technical best solution. So the thing is you can look at anybody as the good or a bad guy in the game. It's like a lot more complicated than a lot of people give it credit for, because you could almost say anybody is good, anybody is bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Also seeing someone's saying that, remember, Garleans call us the savages. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, they are the ones who weren't born with magic, and they got sort of pushed off to Ilzabad, which is a horrible wasteland with nothing in it.
Yeah,
so they kind of probably feel a bit cheated.
To be fair, they're savages. They don't have magic, so.
Well, they've got Magitech.
Yeah, they have.
That's savage.
Cooler.
Nah, that's savage.
But yeah,
I'm kidding, by the way.
I've also found it strange how the beast tribes, like, why are they so I mean, I guess they're underdeveloped because Eorzeans don't allow them to develop, I suppose.
Hell no. Yeah, totally.
I feel Limsa is like the ones that I don't dislike the most when it comes to the beast tribes, because they have no chill. They are just at them, especially I mean, the Sahagin did.
I was gonna say the Sahagins, I could argue that, because
they did.
They kind of like this is ours now, and they like just transform the entire area.
True, that's true. I don't think, because Gridania is the one that's best off, because they only have because they have to worry about the Green Wrath and all that. But as long as they're quiet, nothing's gonna happen. Ramu doesn't give a shit.
They've got Ramu,
Odin's probably
King Moggle,
and they got Odin though.
And Odin, which Odin would kind of suck, but
isn't scary.
How does Odin work? Because Odin isn't worshipped by anyone.
No, the actual primal isn't Odin either. The actual primal is Zantetsuken, is the sword.
So
that's why when
I've never read up on Odin ever.
That's why when somebody dies, Odin is replaced by a different person, right? Is because the actual primal is the sword, not the person.
Yeah, but who worships Odin? No, I think it's just
a collection. I think it's just a collection of ether that is built up over a super long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like a siphon, you know.
Fair enough. I mean, when I think about it, actually, Gridania is a bad place to be, because that forest.
Oh, it's terrible.
That's not a nice forest.
The most boring place is the safest place.
Yeah.
Because Ul'dah has it the best by far.
Yeah, they do. Okay. Let's get back to what we were talking about here. Let's listen to what Koji Fox says. So the question again was, for those that forgot, at the end of Heavensward, the warrior flight saw themselves through Thornton's eyes as he asked, "What are you?" The moment looked downright sinister. Should we be worried? Koji Fox answers, "This was a combination of things. First, the cutscene team wanted to do something really dramatic. You see that a lot in anime, that dramatic perspective. The other half is that you're literally seeing it through his eyes. He's convinced himself that the way he was doing things was the correct way, and that he was in the supreme right. Then you come in and break all of that down. In his mind's eye, you're the evil one, and that last thing he sees is you. The last thing he sees is you in that evil image." Again, that sort of, we just kind of discussed that, because he thought he was in the right.
The answer is anime, basically.
Yeah,
it's pretty much what the answer is. They're like, yeah, it's an anime thing.
So also a question: where did Ramu get a crystal of light? That is I've never even thought about that. Library once hinted that Hydaelyn's champion was able to interfere with the ethereal realm to manifest crystals of light. That's sufficient to hand wave most of the crystal acquisitions after the first one was gifted to us. However, we received one as a gift from the Sylphs, which was in turn allegedly a gift from Ramu. Why would a primal have a sliver of Hydaelyn? Did the Sylphs once confuse an Archon for Ralgr incarnate?
That makes sense. I mean, basically they're saying, did they accidentally confuse? Was it not Ramu? If it was a Ralgr.
They just thought it was a random dude. I don't.
Yeah, they thought it was their own thing, but it was actually Ralgr the entire time. I mean, if you look at Ralgr and Ramu, they're the same person.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, totally. So I think they're saying, like, did they end up getting basically a gift from the 12 because they were worshiping Ralgr the whole time?
Oh,
right.
Okay,
instead of Ramu, so they ended up getting this gift from Hydaelyn.
Oh yeah, nice.
When that's
okay, yeah.
I think that's what he's getting. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah. So that was still part of the question, I think, from Gamerscape. So now, that's because I was like, where's the answer in this? Okay, so here we go. Koji Fox then answers, "I discussed this with Oda-san, and there is a reason, but we plan on expanding on that pretty soon. We can't tell you everything, but we want you to know that it has a lot to do with Ramu's past. Ramu is clearly different from the other primals. They hate the 5-6 races. Now they're all enemies. So Ramu's not the same type, and he knows a lot about the past, and there's a reason he knows so much. There's a reason he's not an enemy of the 6 races. Therein lies the hint of why he had this crystal and why it came to you," which makes sense if he is Ralgr, which he is.
Totally.
But why?
Absolutely.
Why is Ralgr still walking around, and where are the others?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because if he's running around, it would make sense that the others were around somewhere too. But maybe he just didn't want to.
They're all in like Mericidia or on the moon or something.
Maybe they're on the moon, trapped on the moon.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know where they are.
Because
they're clearly somewhere. They're clearly lingering around because, I mean, 1.0 proves that if you do need them, I mean...
Well, did they didn't complete the ritual, did they? So they weren't properly summoned? Yeah, what did...
Right.
God, now we're just all of the elements.
Yeah,
let's concentrate. Okay, let's slow down. When Louis Soir did was trying to summon the 12, but the ritual failed, so I just assumed that they didn't answer. They didn't get summoned because they don't look like symbols. I would assume they looked like,
right,
because we only see the symbols of the 12. We never see the actual 12, which I always assumed meant that they never actually answered the call properly, because the ritual never finished.
I kind of always assumed that they just helped him channel all that ether, because I feel like the what's the name of his staff? I can't remember it right now. Tupsimati would have been completely drained if he'd used that much. Yeah, it wasn't completely drained, right? It was I know it's a siphon, but it would still be. So I don't know. Maybe I guess we've never really had a distinct answer of whether they answered or not.
No,
which that's a really good point to bring up, actually.
Yeah, because we know that they left Hydaelyn after the 5 races came to Eorzea.
Right. And I was gonna say what somebody said in chat. I mean, it doesn't matter if the 12 are actually a thing or not, anyways, because that's how primals work.
True.
Right. If you want something to exist, it will exist eventually if enough people want it.
Yeah. I wonder though, because I kind of, if they are just primals, well, I mean, they have to be primals. I mean, there's nothing that proves that they're anything else. But I mean, they do say that they created the Earth. I mean, Hydaelyn. If you follow in other Final Fantasy games, the divine myth is usually real. It's the god of that world is usually a legit thing. Primals in 14 aren't actually, at least in Eorzean eyes, real gods. So I've always sort of, until Heavensward-ish, that's when I really started to realize that this is probably just primal shit. But I always thought that they were actual, the OG gods. But I don't know what that means, because you have Hydaelyn. What the fuck is that? What is Hydaelyn then in all of this? Is she a primal? Is that a primal?
No, that's just the planet.
You see, that's why it's so difficult.
No, I totally agree with you. So it's nice to have an actual answer on that at some point.
Until the end of A Realm Reborn, I always thought it was Hydaelyn, the 12 primals.
I think you're meant to think that the 12 are gods, though, because that's kind of you as a person, and the Eorzeans as people, they think these are the correct gods. The creation myth is probably just something they made up to fit their needs and sort of give purpose to their gods. Whereas for a kobold, maybe he thinks Titan made the whole planet. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, totally. I agree with that. And I mean, you even look. Well, see, it gets complicated and less complicated. So you look at Hingashi and you're like, okay, well, the creation myths are different.
Yeah.
But then you still have things where you're like, no, that's clearly the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Azim Steppe is the greatest example for that, where you're like, that's the exact same thing and the names are hardly different. They're very similar. So it's
that is, that's the thing. Also, just, you don't even have to cross, because one would think that if the 12, because the 12 is worshipped all over the Eorzean continent, and that's a very big continent. And it is strange how, and most of Eorzea is illiterate too, which we have to remember. Most Eorzeans can't read, yet they still worship the 12. I still find that a bit weird, that people of Sharlayan believe in I
agree with that.
That they believe in the 12 is, to me, very strange. That they believe the same thing as someone down in Limsa Lominsa. I still think that is a bit strange, although... Who wrote the creation myth, though? Is that Charlian? Is that a Charlian scheme?
It must be a Charlian thing.
A Charlian.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I hope we find these answers eventually because it's all fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that's what fascinates me with Final Fantasy, because they always have this fucked up religion thing going in the.
It could go either way. So, certain games it's super positive, and some games it's super negative. So
in Final Fantasy,
I would like to see.
In Final Fantasy, it's usually really bad if it's organized religion, which you've seen in 14 as well with Heavensward with Thor.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well, the 12 is more like just an open religion. You don't really. There's no. It's not. They have the thing in the Shroud, I guess, but I don't get the feeling that there's like rules and stuff for worshipping the 12. Well,
they don't have like ceremonies or anything.
No,
do they?
no, except for when you marry, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, and you can do anyone you want and stuff like that. So I agree with that. That's a good point. Yeah, it's a really good point.
So we'll see. We obviously don't know yet, and we're nowhere near that. I guess that's something that I have like a feeling that when we near the end of 14's life, we might see more about the 12. Maybe that's when they return to us. I feel like that's. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's going to be like the end of everything.
The climax of the Ascians. Yeah, maybe that would be a thing. Yeah, anyways, let's move on. How did a dire store end up in the final coil of Bahamut?
What a segue. What a 180 question.
Yeah, we're going from these like super deep conversations to like, but how dinosaur get there? Like,
before we do that, I also remembered another thing from the panel, which I thought was quite funny. Do you know the arc that's on the where is it? In Girabania. There's like a
it's in the peaks, isn't it?
Yeah, in the peaks. What's it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like
Niumcref's Hope.
Yeah, that name, which I will not repeat. That guy was a Charlian dude. And during the Calamity of Water, he traveled to I can't remember where he traveled. He traveled to the Rogadans. No, wait, I can't remember where he went, but he went somewhere. The Amdapori. And he
visited everywhere.
Yeah, and he was like,
basically,
I can take you on this ship, and I will just warp us back to Charlian. And they were like, oh shit, and the went into his his little arc, and he was like, whoop, 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 and they just crashed. They just landed on a mountain in the peaks, and because he was
that thing,
yeah.
It's time for Who Wants to Be a Gillionaire. You want to know what was his full name?
I bet it's Noah.
Well, I couldn't even remember his first name, so there's no way I can remember his. I know
it's a joke. It's totally ridiculous.
Oh my god, what's his name?
His name is Niumcrefsen.
Oh no. Well, they call because he was such an idiot, they called the mount. They named the mountain after him. What's his name? Niumcreps. It's
like 12 vowels.
Yeah,
and then like a bunch of
His name Hope, just so he would never forget that day that he landed an ark on a mountain.
I mean, he
saved them though.
Well, no, I don't even think he was. If I'm remembering correctly, he was not a Charlian. He created the Charlians. All of the people he rounded up became the Charlians.
But they settled in the peaks, I think.
No, they didn't.
How is his boat still there?
Because they didn't travel back.
Hundreds of years.
But the ark is still there.
Yeah, because they left it and they walked.
But okay, this doesn't...
They couldn't get it down.
Okay. I can't remember him saying that. Okay, fine. Did he make the Charlians? That's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the guy, because he was like the early version of an astrologian.
Oh, there we go. They named it Mount Yorn. That's what it's called. It's Mount Yorn.
Right. Yeah.
He wanted to teleport them to the Isle of Yorn and failed. That's what it was. But there was another sad thing. I thought that was related to this, because during that calamity when the Amdapori escaped, there's a part on the map that's called... I need to tell this. I need to, because that one's so sad.
This has been such a random show.
Sorry about that.
Koji, why'd you have to bring all this?
Why did you
thoughts?
Why did you suddenly become enlarged?
See, I don't know.
Hello.
Hi.
Did something happen to?
Yeah,
I don't know.
blue screened, but I'm back.
You blew.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, solid state drives.
That explains why I zoomed in then.
Yep.
Just leave it. We'll go with it.
It's just me and my little pocket Xenos. Who's facing backwards. He's ashamed.
What's the other area? Oh god, I can't remember. Professional podcast. This is another thing that's going to be cut out of the YouTube version. Don't worry about it, guys. I got this.
Can you join the Skype chat so I zoom back out?
No.
Oh, I think you have to because I can't fix that.
Yeah. Get in there.
Okay, hold on. I've got this.
Welcome back to Skype.
Can someone?
What are you looking for? You haven't really said what you're looking for.
I am looking for two lakes, and they're right next to each other, and I can't remember where. Are
you talking about Grim and Eind?
Oh, yeah,
or Enid?
Yes.
Whatever.
That's the name of them. I forgot their names. Grim and Enid, or whatever. They were two Amdapori refugees, I guess. They had separated from the rest of the group, and that was a bad idea. So they just walked, and they got really, really thirsty, and they thought they were going to die. And then, out of nowhere, they find these two pools of fresh water, and they get really excited, and they run over there, and they start drinking. Then they fall in and drown. And then the rest of the group finds them, and they're like, oh, there they are. And they name the lakes after them because they died in the water. I just thought that was
They like to make things dark every once in a while.
Yeah, that was so dark.
Hey, this person had their kids slaughtered in front of them. Let's make a tower after them. It's a dungeon. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, guys. Chill out.
Oh, he also answered the very a question most people have been asking. A lot of people have been asking, what happened to the oh god, where do you forget everything today, Lucio? The Gelmorans. Like, how did they cease to exist? And the short answer is when they realized that it was safe to go back to the surface, some stayed behind, those remained Gelmoran, but because a lot of people left, Ellison and Hures left, there were not enough people to just keep the settlement alive. Like the farms and stuff were left unmanned, and eventually they just slowly died out.
What? So I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
My ancestors are dead?
They are. They just...
No,
they just...
I need to hold a funeral for my Duskwhite brethren. Oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah, so they got like the boring death, basically. They just ran out of time, basically.
That's ever so Duskwhite.
Yeah, it is. And they were really salty. So that's why they stayed behind, because the others left. They were like traitors to them because they just gave up on Gelmora, because they were like, what's the point of going up when we built this nice cozy place down here?
Good point. Fuck them. They called me a traitor. Good point. I'm over it.
Yeah. Then back to the interview. So another question to Koji Fox was, it sounds like Allag's capital was near Silvertear Lake. Where was Midgard's armor?
Wait, what?
What a question.
Okay. Sounds like Allag's capital is near.
Okay, it continues the question. Yeah, I've never thought about where Allag's capital is, but it makes sense to be in there, around there.
Like right by the Crystal Tower, yeah. Yeah, totally.
Given the Battle of Silvertear Skies, it seems incredible that Midgard's armor could have slept through or abstained from action against Allag's activities, especially late into the Third Astral Era. Where was the Father of Dragons whilst Allag warred with his children, killed his son, enslaved primals, and entreated the void from a tower built on his waterfall? That's a lot of stuff to sleep through. All while apparently working with Omega, his nemesis from another planet and/or dimension. Yeah,
it's sentences like that when you're like, our game has some weird shit in it. A dragon with friends with a robot from another dimension.
Oh
no, it's like
yeah, I didn't read his answer. Sorry.
Keep reading.
Why weren't you doing anything? Omega, just gonna ignore that. Primals, just gonna ignore that. Crystal Tower, actually the backbone of this story exists, and hopefully not in 4.1 after will delve into what he was doing, or at least what he was thinking at that time. We're going to tell that story, but in the game. That made me very excited because I've always loved. I have a thing for the Allagans. I just love Allagan. So I one day hope to just see some part of Eorzea like when it was Allagan, because it sounds incredible.
Well, I mean, you basically got that with Az's Law. It's like the closest you're probably gonna get.
Az's Law looks like a dirty Allagan, old dirty Allagan thing, because.
I see that. Yeah,
that wasn't supposed to be like a city that people lived in.
Parts of Coil are pretty clean still.
That's true, but that was like it's not like a.
I get what you're saying though, like an actual.
I want to see a city. I want to see Eorzea.
Wow. I think the problem is those are kind of thousands of years old, so they kind of don't exist anymore.
I mean, I know it's never going to happen, but it's just like maybe like in a flashback.
I was gonna say the Echo could bring that up possibility, but
yeah. I love Allagan. Anyways, we're going to hear more about that apparently it sounds like maybe in the 4.x.
I find that very interesting because I mean, at least for me, I assumed Crystal Tower was all done. Like they were just never going to mention it again, basically.
Yeah, that's true. But Midgardstormer is still latching on for some reason. He did appear again, so yeah, we'll see, I guess. I also just want to mention when we're talking about patches, in another interview, I think we just barely mentioned this last episode, but they basically confirmed that 4.x is going to go as far as maybe 4.7, which I don't know what that means, if that's going to mean that we get patches quicker or if it's going to take longer until the expansion. What do you think?
Either's fine for me.
Yeah, I don't really care because we've still yet to see the first patch, but to see what they bring us in patches. It sounds like the patches are bigger this time than what we've been given before. If Eureka and I mean, we're getting.
I wouldn't jump to say that yet until we see it. I mean, until we see the first one.
We have to wait and see, but I mean, it wouldn't be.
I'm just getting flashbacks of people going 3.1 is going to be awesome, guys. So that's why I'm just being on the safe side of that.
I remember. When waiting for 3.1, that was just because there was no content. Like, we just had nothing, and it was just desperation. Anything was better than just waiting for 3.1. 4.1 almost sounds like we're getting a little bit. I don't want to say it again, but it does.
It does. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Totally.
We're getting Return to Evilise and Eureka, which, I mean, I have to say, Eureka.
Which means the relic.
Which means the relic. Yeah. I mean, if they give us bigger patches.
Personally, for me, I kind of I like the speed of expansions. I think it's enough time for us to get this huge dose of content all at once, and then just trickle down for a while. Yeah. And then, so I personally would like it if they were gonna do it, that would just mean faster release. But I don't think that's even possible, honestly, because of how hard they work. So I hope not. But if it's a thing, whatever. I mean, I'm still gonna play.
I still remember them saying though that they were probably just gonna keep releasing an expansion every 2 years. So yeah. I don't see why they would stray off that path. It might just what
I was gonna say, the ending of Heavensward was a lot slower than the earlier stuff. The last few patches were very dull.
Yeah,
so they might just try and patch that up a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, because we got let's not go there again.
This has been all over the place. I love it. I love it so much.
It's like all these interviews just reminds me of everything else. So it's sorry. Let's see.
Jump down to the Unakalhai question.
Where Where is that?
What was Unicalhai up to for all those years he was with Elidibus?
Oh.
Basically saying he's old. If that's his true origin story, he's like ridiculously old.
Yeah, he's between 6,000 and 20,000 years old.
But he's a baby.
Yeah,
is basically what they're saying. He's too childlike to be that old.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, sure, I guess that. The answer basically being he's not actually that old technically.
Yeah, he was put in stasis basically.
Right.
Yeah. Calamity is approaching. Time to play the trump card. So his origin is very old, but he was in stasis, so he's very immature. So that explains that. How did the summoning of Susano work? So this actually ties into what we talked about earlier with Odin. See, there was a reason why we talked about Odin, guys.
Sure, yeah, I brought that up on purpose.
Planned.
Totally.
He kind of came out of nowhere. There. If I had to guess, I'd say the Magatama acted a bit like Santetsuken. That's the best I've got. Koji Fox then says, this was in the forum questions as well, but I can answer you guys here. Oh, really? Actually, there's nothing new going on at all. It's the same.
Oh, really?
It's the same way primals have always been summoned. Strong belief, the power of the crystal's ether within the crystals consolidates to make a manifestation. Until now, the beast tribes have been like, okay, we need Ifrit now. We need Garuda now. And they believe an ether in that area would result in a manifestation of that belief. With Susano, there was no intention, but everything else just fell into place. There was a ritual in a sense, intense belief, ether latent in the treasures, and even though it wasn't intended, it just sort of happened. It wasn't a mistake. Just happenstance. I guess.
Fine.
Oh, okay. I'll buy that.
No crystals required, basically. So.
Yeah. I need to skip some questions here. How do calamities empower Zodiac? Zodiac? Did I say that? Zodiac. Sorry, Zodiac. We learn a lot about the nature of the cosmos and why calamities happen, but if the dimension that is compressed has all of its ether returned to the sea, why does Hydaelyn get increasingly weaker while Zodiac, exiled as the moon, is empowered? Good question, I guess.
These are going deep.
This is deeper than I intended.
This is wow.
It's so deep that we can't even discuss it. I just have to read Koji Fox.
This is when I think of when Stormblood came out and all the red mages were hitting 70, and it's just how deep does the rabbit hole go?
A lot has been revealed, but a lot of backstory is still hidden. There's a method to the madness. I talked to Oda-san about this for over an hour and we picked it apart. He's decided to go back and rethink a few things. Wait, can I just stop? Is he basically saying that they don't really know? They don't really know. They have to Okay.
Yeah, that is what because they said earlier that they're like, yeah, we technically don't know how the Ascian thing's going to end yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's the same thing, right?
Yeah. You mentioned the E3 interview where Yoshida-san spoke of the Ascian storyline not being complete. We still have more to reveal on that, but Oda-san wants to leave you with a hint that Zodiac was stronger than Hydaelyn before the division is significant.
That's very interesting.
That is very interesting. What could that mean?
I don't know how that makes sense, if I'm being entirely honest. Because they're mirror images of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So how does one...
I need to make a new character. I need to make a new character and go through the whole story again.
I don't think it's going to help all that much.
No.
I think this stuff's so deep in that it's like not at like face value.
Okay, some easier questions here, I guess. Did Neo X Death? Then I started reading it and I was like, no.
I guess.
Here's the easy one, guys. Did Neo X Death manage to tap into the actual void from the Deltascape, or was that more Omega synthetic shenanigans? Well, there was an easy answer here, though. Omega shenanigans. X Death is from the void, so Omega compiled some void.
What? God.
You're just like, let's make a void here. Yeah.
Oh. There's Maki statues.
Yeah, are the statues in Maki raids the interpretation of Ralgar? Koji Fox
I got this answer.
What? Oh yeah. He doesn't want to answer that, which usually means yes.
or it means I actually don't know. Maybe
that too. It's either yes or I don't know, or we didn't think about it. But I've seen that people say that before, that the big statues that holds, this is the one that holds the orb.
No, it's just all the ones that are on the sides, like reaching up and.
Yeah, but he sometimes holds an orb as well. There's
maybe
I think they just reuse it and just change his arm position. Yeah, I think it's the big ones. Yeah,
the big ones that are like below you and above you.
And when you're doing when you're fighting Diablos, there's like two massive statues of a guy. I think that's the one. Yeah. Which again is interesting. If when we're talking about the 12 being primals or not, because if even the Maki had Raliger, why is Raliger appearing everywhere?
How deep does the rabbit hole go?
But Raliger is the destroyer. Is he the one who started?
He's the destroyer, yeah.
Let me. Who was the first god? I mean, we're going deep today. I'm sorry.
You're going that deep.
This is whoa.
Like Thalak or something? I don't know.
Let me get my robes on.
Let's light some candles. Let's see. In the beginning, there was neither light nor darkness, only the whirl. And it was not until Althic emerged thence in his nakedness did time take its first step forward. With him, the Keeper also carried weight, and with weight were the realms of land and firmament defined. So it was Althic, and it is Althic.
And then Thalic next, right? I think.
Yet Althic would not be alone over long, for soon from the world. I love every time I read the world. Did another step forth. Her name was it's Nemea.
Oh, the spinner.
Well, they don't. If you read that thing, it doesn't actually mention all 12 by name.
And she was but a mewling babe, who could do naught but weep. And soon her tears had created a vast lake. Althic, seeking companionship in the empathy realm of his creation, took the young goddess under his wing and cared for her as one would a daughter.
Okay, that's weird.
It gets better. As Nemea grew, however, so too did their love for one another, until it could no longer be contained, culminating in a divine coupling, which resulted in the birth of two holy daughters, Azema, the sun, and Menfina, the moon. And with
that's some like anime incest levels of stuff right there.
And with their advent was day and night conceived. Where does Raliger come? I mean,
it's way late. I think he's pretty far down.
Should be careful what I'm saying here. I'm gonna get demonetized.
I think you threw all that out the window with the Diana comment.
Please, everyone has forgotten about that by now. So did countless cycles of light and darkness pass before from the whirl. Once again did another step forth. Thaliak, bearer of wisdom and knowledge, looked upon the silent and unchanging lake left by Nemea's tears, and coaxed from it a river to carry that water to the far corners of the realm. Azema, drawn to Thaliak's what's this word? Sagacity? Sagacity, professed her love to the new deity and begot him two daughters, the first being Limlane, who took the water created by her grandmother and expanded it into the world's seas. The second daughter was lonely Nofika, who, wanting for companionship, created her own playmates and thus brought life into the world. So she created the races, I guess.
She created the Rogan.
It was not until life had spread throughout the land and newly created seas that a new god appeared. Though whence the others did not know, for the world lay dormant. His name was Ocean, and where he wandered did towering mountains rise from level plains. With the formation of these spires did cold wind flow from on high down to the warm seas and back up again.
What is going on?
Carrying life that was once reserved for land and water into the skies. Those winds did bring love into the heart of Limlane, yet though she longed to be with Ocean, his wanderlust prevented the two from ever being joined over long, and lo did they never beget children of their own. This was a time of great creation, but also of great chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Ocean's mountains rose and fell at his whims. Thaliak's rivers flowed hither and thither. I don't know why. Hither and thither. And Limlane's seas ever expanded, swallowing entire swatches of land before the gods even knew they were gone. To bring order to this chaos, Nemea pried forth a mighty comet from the heavens and gave it life.
Why?
We finally made it. We finally made it.
Directing it down to the world that it may destroy the excess her sons and daughters had wrought, while bringing harmony once again to the realm. And for many days and nights was the world calm, the gods content in the order which now reigned supreme. That is until the world woke from its slumber and beckoned forth two final deities, Byragot and his younger sister Halone. It was feared that the untamed and ambitious, I don't know why that word fucked me over, siblings might once again usher chaos onto the world. To see that they were properly disciplined, Nemea quickly made them wards of Rolger, the Destroyer. We got there.
Yeah. I mean, he's just basically he's the meteor. Because they don't name everyone by name.
But he wasn't named there though.
At the end, yeah, but that wasn't like when he was introduced.
Why would you? Right, sure, the world's a bit chaotic. I know what I'll do.
Did we mention
a meteor on it? How is that going to solve the chaos?
I don't know. Cool, it's cool.
That's
I guess
some Shinra level.
It is actually quite interesting, but it's
very interesting. But maybe we should start our own little like lore weekly.
We should start our own like Bible study, like Eorzean Bible study.
We'll all get our lore books and we'll go through it and we'll wear robes.
We have the robes are important. I'm sorry to everyone. I got lost in the creation myth.
Not even a real creation myth, just an in-game one.
Guys, the next question's about Verminion. Lords of Verminion.
What is a real creation myth? Anyways,
wow, so it was you who put those posts on the website.
Have you?
Yeah, it was me.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never made this connection before.
What connection?
It's interesting.
Is Verminion just a red mage's minion?
Okay, Vermilion, yes. We knew that it wasn't really white magic or black magic, and we needed something that was one syllable and punchy and works cross-language, and Vermilion worked out well. You write out every spell with each of your ideas, and you see what looks best.
So does that mean that the best red mages are the Lords of Verminion?
Exactly.
Has to be. Has to be.
Gosh,
because we all know that Verminion was based off of Vermilion. So we're going we're going super deep. So you're not a true red mage unless you rank first in every tournament at Lords of Verminion. Yeah. So if you think you're a red mage, you're probably not, honestly, and you should probably rethink your whole life and play a lot more Lords of Verminion.
We're going so deep, we've almost actually hit rock bottom.
I think we have hit rock bottom.
Okay, let's move on. There's actually a question here that's related to what we just talked about. The lore book introduced this concept of the whirl.
There's still 3 pages left.
How did this find its way? Fuck, are you for sure? Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to skip through a lot of this.
Stop talking about the wall.
But we haven't talked about... We have to finish this question. The lore book introduced this concept of the whirl. How did this find its way into Eorzean mythology? Is there some great swirling chaos out there beyond the cosmos? Koji Fox answers, who knows? No one was there at the beginning of the universe, so they have to speculate. Why did they create this answer? Because there can't be no answer. It's like a metaphor for the womb, this dark void from which something emerges into the light. Something can't come from nothing, and birth is something familiar to them. I don't know if I want to go deeper into that. It's like, what, 10 a.m.?
10 p.m.
Yeah.
The real question, though.
The real question right below is, Koji, where do babies come from? And he answers, from the world. But he, in that panel, someone asked the question, why are there no Rogadin children? And what do they look like? And he said that the dev team, or the guy who's in charge, is that
In charge of what?
Is that what's the name of the guy that I've been referencing all the time today?
For lore?
Yeah. Oda-san, yes. He said that he wanted to put Rogadin children into the game, but every time he said he wanted to put that into the game, they were like, yeah, later. The dev team.
They're not cute enough.
No, that's probably what, because he said that everyone in the dev team hates the Rogadins. So
yeah, because they're not like.
But Oda-san is trying to get it into the game, but because he loves Rogadins, so
they just need to add some like little tails or like something. Dress them up in a maid's outfit, and then you'll get your children.
Also, he loves. Oda-san apparently also loves dinosaurs, which is why in Heavensward we suddenly got dinosaurs everywhere, because he just loves dinosaurs. So he just started putting them into.
I was okay with it.
The great content.
I guess he likes Final Fantasy VIII the best.
The diadem. What?
I guess he likes Final Fantasy VIII the best.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the end here. Oh my god, there are a lot of pages.
Dude, I know. That's why I was like, this is...
I guess if it's...
Do we just... Never mind.
Anyways. Yeah, this was a lot bigger interview than we had expected.
Do we just save some of it?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Because
this
we're at like almost 2 hours. Yeah.
Maybe we can like go deeper into it the next week.
We can.
That's
we'll
true.
Have more time to expand on.
And we can actually read up on this.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have to wrap up. I do want to remind everyone though that. Thank you to everyone who's watching this stream. Thank you.
We're gonna try and continue to one up ourselves with just how ridiculous this thing gets.
Yeah,
and it's working so far.
Yeah, so far so good.
It's really working. Yeah, we're good.
Anyways, it's time for us to sign off. Have to remind everyone, you probably know this already, everyone, but Denmo is having a charity stream right now. And he's doing a Lalafell, I think it's like like where you walk through, I can't remember the name of anything today. Almost like a parade-ish thing, where if you should go to Siren. It's on the Siren server. So make a Lalafell on Siren, and I think it's at 4 p.m. PDTs. That's in like 2 hours from now. I think they're sort of already started with some airship march. March is the word I'm looking for. It's a Lalafell march on Siren. So if you want to join in on that, make sure to get onto Siren. It's for the hurricane relief.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's good.
Go help out if you can.
Go do that, and I might be there. So, if I can get on now. Yeah, that's it. Time to wrap it up. Thank you for watching Speakers of Eidolon episode 59. I'm Lakeel Bravestone. I've been joined by Yaspot and Malavanadar. Remember to follow us on our social media, usually at SpeakersXIV or /SpeakersXIV, except for Twitch, which is /SpeakersOfEidolon. Our email address is speakersofeidolon@gmail.com. Remember, Monday is the last day that you can apply for the new host position, and we're also looking for new writers. Remember to go to speakersxiv.com/apply if you want to write for speakersxiv.com. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Speakers of Eidolon. If you want to watch the show live, the show runs live every Saturday at 7 p.m. GMT, 12 p.m. PDT on twitch.tv/SpeakersOfEidolon and on youtube.com/SpeakersXIV. If you want to support the show, consider pledging to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.